All right, guys. So if you're tuning in tonight, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Friday. Get a glass of champagne, a glass of wine. What do you prefer, Brian, when you're drinking? Do you drink?
Um, I like a nice glass of Stella.
Nice. Okay, okay. I'm sipping on a little H2O myself. Um,
There you go.
it's been a very long week, but today we're going to talk about the importance of creating generational wealth, particularly for men. And so I'm going to let Mr. Brian, host of Brian's Place, pretty much lead this conversation and take it away because I want him to really hone in and help a lot of the men, the young gentlemen and older gentlemen, to understand the importance of it. And maybe he may even open up your mind to some blockages that you may have been facing and were unaware of these mental blocks you're creating that are blocking you from attaining this type of wealth. Is that a nice intro for you?
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much. Thank you again for having me on. It's truly an honor and a blessing. Um, I believe generational wealth is so important, and it's not just about having a roll of dough in your wallet, but it's about having a generational mindset. So just a little backstory. When I was in junior high school, my dad used to give me $5 every day for lunch, and every day I would put the money under my mattress in a plastic bag, and then at the end of the week I'd go to the video store and get my favorite game, and then I'd come home with a bag, and he'd be like, "How'd you get that?" And I'd be like, the lunch money you give me every day. And he was like, "You're supposed to use that for lunch." And I was like, "Well, I just eat when I get home." And so like from that young age, I realized that if I'm willing to sacrifice on one end, then I can use it for my advantage on another end. And so it's been an awesome journey, but I really want to reach out to those of you, you other fellows out there who may be listening to this. It's great to have money and it's great to get a paycheck, but I believe in no way should we be content with living from paycheck to paycheck. That's and not good. I know things have to be taken care of, but there's things have to also be taken care of for the next generation. And if you're just to have tunnel vision and just focus on today and not thinking about tomorrow and your decisions that you're making today, then when you reach your tomorrow, you'll wonder what happened. And unfortunately, lots of people start that effect, and it's not good. But saving is easy. You don't need a lot of money to save. So if you simply save $100 a month, not a week, just $100 a month. If you get 2 paychecks a month and you save $100 each month, for after a whole year, that's $1,200. So, and I'm even on this thing where it's like, and it goes up. So the first paycheck you save $10, then the next paycheck 20, and then the next paycheck 30. And of course it's a sacrifice, but it's definitely worth it, especially for those of you who have children. It's important to think about their legacy. And it's important, knowledge is power. Knowledge isn't just meant for us to keep all to ourselves, but it's important to pass it down to the next generation. And whatever that wealth is. I don't know how many of you saw the movie Lion King back when it first came out, but one thing that's always stuck with me is when the father Mufasa took Simba on I think it was the top of Pride Rock, and he said, as far as the eye can see, one day all this will be yours. And so Simba grew up knowing that one day, if he made the right decisions in life, one day, if he was a diligent steward over all that came his way, one day that all this land, as far as the eye could see, would be his, and we can, I believe we can definitely learn a lot from that. And we can learn. Sometimes it's the simple things in life that we can learn a lot of lessons from. So yeah.
Definitely. We have one question. What motivated you to start saving at such a young age?
I realized I could eat lunch when I got home, and I realized that by doing so, I could get as many video games out as I wanted, week after week after week. So knowing that, I'm like, I could make this work for me. And at the end of the week, after the end of the month, my dad would be like, where do you get all this money from? You doing something you're not supposed to be doing? I'm like, I'm just keeping a rubber band and a plastic bag under the mattress, and just yeah.
So
And
you
of
made
course,
that small sacrifice. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's what it takes, sacrifice.
Yeah, I love it. I was looking up something while you were talking about people saving, and if they just save, say just $100 a month, you'll have a little change, an emergency fund for yourself. And so for people, we're talking about, and I didn't know this until today, that for Black Americans now, the average income is $23,738. That's not that much, and so what that's like roughly like $1,900 a month, and depending on your rent and all these things like that. But I'll say this, that's a staggering statistic, unfortunately. But when we come into extra money, a lot of us we're quick to spend. So what would be your advice on that when you get your income tax? If you fall into some extra money for the month, what would be your best advice, especially to our Black men? How should they move forward whenever they do run across these golden times?
I believe the first step is to sit down and budget, just like you would sit down and budget a regular paycheck. Any extra money that comes your way, whether it's via, I don't know, say you're in someone's inheritance or however extra money comes, it's important to budget and to make things, have goals set. It's important to have goals because I believe all of us, no matter where we're at in our lives, have purpose attached to us. And it's important to find out what that purpose is so we're not just walking to and fro here on earth, just living. It's like life was meant
Yes.
to be lived. It wasn't just meant to, like, we're not robots. So it's also takes intentionality, about being intentional and be like not being so quick to like go to the most fanciest restaurant, but like save up, and just having a small mindset of something small. It's like being at the bottom of the stairs and wanting to get to the top. Well, you have to deal with the first step before you can think about all the other steps of getting to the top. So start small, start off something that is doable for you, and create a program or a plan, and want to encourage you to make it work. Of course, you want to have money to go to the barber shop or different things, and that's fine. But it's just being wise. That the Bible says a fool and his money soon part. So who wants to keep getting money and money and more money if there's holes in your pocket? So the thing is to make sure there's no holes in your pocket. The thing is to make sure when you get money, you have a mindset to hold on to it and to make it last, not just to use it right there in the moment, but to use your current moment to prepare for the next moment and the moment after that.
Oh yeah, outstanding. I mean, I agree with that 100%. And I kind of want to like chime in on the part where you said don't always spend money going out to eat. That used to be like the culprit of where like my money was flowing like a river into
Yeah.
restaurants and all these different eating experiences. And something that I realized as I got older, and of course it came along with maturity, is that I can learn how to cook these dishes for myself so that I have it as leftovers for 2 or 3 days at a time. Like, but the younger version of me wasn't thinking about that, you know? You can take it
Mhm.
away. You can take it away. I have to run out for a second.
All right.
Keep
Yeah,
it
but
going.
that's definitely a good point. And unfortunately, we are influenced a lot by what we see on TV. And it's sad because, you know, especially in the videos, you know, they have the the nicest clothes, they have the nicest cars, the nicest homes, and um, all that's great for a music video. But like, what about tomorrow? You know, what about the next month? What about the next year? Once everyone goes home and the lights are off, you know, do you still have money? And I think a great goal to have is to have a financial cushion. You know, say God forbid something to happen and you need some type of financial cushion. You'll really wish you wouldn't have gone out and um, got that $1,000 necklace when you really didn't need it. Necklaces and things are nice, but it's like, you know, in order to be established, it helps to have a firm foundation. So a nice financial cushion definitely helps. And you start off small, you know, and you'll see the rewards, and whether you're able to save by investing or whatever, keeping something under your mattress or putting something in the bank. There's
Yeah.
ways to save, you know.
Look at me jumping back in and wanting to hop back in. But I was going to say something too, in addition to this whole, and I know you've already gone beyond this, but in addition to cooking, because that's a big thing. Not only are you saving money, that's probably like 60% of where your income is going every single month. But you're also getting healthier when you cook. And another thing I wanted to say is no matter, especially if you're not a disciplined person, because I remember earlier you were saying something about the reason why wiseness. That's what you were talking about. Being wise and knowing that when you have money, you have to be disciplined enough. And that's the word. That's the key for me is discipline. If you don't have any discipline, you could be making $50,000 this year and still saving only maybe $200 or $300 per month. And then next year you could be making 150,000 and still only saving the same amount because you have no discipline and you're constantly. It's a when we spend money, it's more emotional of what I've observed. And so when you're spending money just based on raw emotions or impulse, that's the most riskiest. That's so risky to do. So I think that when we have money and when we're, especially when we're spending it, we need to think about, do I really need this? Like, do I really need this? And that's a hard question to ask, especially for some of us women, because we do like to spend money. And it's not every woman, but it's a vast majority of us. So I know that men in particular, the ones that I've run across, are typically more structured and disciplined when it comes to saving. So with that being said, I think that especially for our Black men, if we can increase that wage gap, I think that would be extremely beneficial. So leading into that, I want to ask you as a guy, what would be your best advice to the men who want to work, but they can't find jobs, especially right now with COVID-19? Is there any advice you would give men right now who are really having a really hard time with getting that income that they need in order to save?
Yes, I definitely understand that, especially in today's times. It's a lot going on, and it's real tough. But I'm always reminded that there's a story in the Bible where this woman thought that she was about that her and her son were going to die, but the prophet came and told her to use what's in her house, and she had oil in her house, and she sold it. So I believe, like, in some way, shape, form, and fashion, we all have something in our house. We all have some type of skill, gift, or ability, whether it's making flyers, whether it's writing music. Everyone has a problem, and for their problem, everyone is looking for a problem solver. So you could be carrying around the solution to someone else's problem. So look at what you're good at. Look at what your skills and abilities are. Maybe you're good at cutting hair. So maybe you could open up your garage and have people come, and that could generate some type of income. But I really want to encourage you to look within in order to figure out the outside and see what you're good at.
I love it because this year has been such a revealing year for so many of us on a global scale. I love that advice that you have given to everyone. It applies to both men and women. So I'll add to that too. Don't be afraid, because a lot of us, we hinder our growth, we hinder our blessings because we're simply afraid to receive it. Don't be afraid. I love that. You have to look within. So, and I love also the fact that you said we all have issues, because that's so true. Somebody right now that's watching this show is dealing with something relating to financial insecurity, and it may be self-inflicted, and you're unaware of it. So stop eating out so much. Start researching ways to invest your money. So I actually looked up before this segment started today. I looked up how to build generational wealth, because I was a little curious as to what the internet would spit out and let us know what other people are doing. So obviously, number one was invest in the stock market. But what I'm noticing about a lot of people is that they don't understand how to invest in stocks. So yes, overcoming fear. So I think, with YouTube and all these other videos on the spot that kind of teach you these things, just browse around on YouTube and type in how to invest in the stock market. There's apps. I know Robinhood is one that I started out using. It's super easy, user friendly. You just download it on your phone. If you invite your friends to download Robinhood, then you can get a few stocks for free, just whatever selected stock that Robinhood decides to give you. But either way, it's a good investment if you're just learning and you're just starting out. So, but there's big companies on there like Chipotle, Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft. You guess it, you name it, they have it. And it's you can watch your money, you can take it out whenever you want. But the objective and the goal with using, so I'm just going to give you guys a gem right now. The objective with downloading that app and investing your money, let's just say there's a stock that's $50 per share. If you have $100, you can invest the $100 and get 2 stocks of whatever particular company that it is at the time. Let's just say it's company Z. So you invest $100, you have 2 shares from company Z. Well, the stock per share, the price per share goes up to $200 per share now, but you bought it at 50. So then you just do the math and you do the difference. It's 200 minus 50 times 2 is the profit that you made. And you will be able to take that money out when you want to. Now, it's not going to come out same day. Sometimes they hold it for like a day or 2, sometimes 3 days, but that money is linked directly to your account. So that's free knowledge, that's free information. Also, someone stated, Asia stated that Stash is another great one. And you can save on Stash and invest in stocks as well. So there's so many different apps out there, you guys. You just have to literally Google search how to invest in stocks or apps. Put apps at the end of that search, and you're going to find a ton of different apps that you can invest in and use. And you don't have to start out big. I use $50 as an example. You can invest as little as 1 cent, depending on what the stock is. So there's so many different companies, so many different levels and stock values to choose from. You just have to be patient with yourself to research this information, and then do not be afraid to move forward and open up that door,
That was so true. And also, I believe just being in preparation, I could give you $100 every day for the rest of this year. But if come January 1st, you don't have anything to show for it, it's like, what good is me giving you $100 every,
Yeah.
Is a month and some change left in this year. It's like, that's not how it should be. And that's one thing I heard about, people who play the lotto, like several years, they're broke. And it's like, so getting the money is not the issue, but the issue is keeping it. And it's like, especially if you win the lottery, that, there should be no reason you should be broke if you're.
You know how many people go broke after they win the lottery? It's crazy. It's crazy.
I'm like, are you serious?
Asia says she's normally puts in at least $25 per month into a stock, and she spends that on eating out, and that's so true. It's the simple things. Like, I'm telling you, we've been looking at the world in the wrong perspective. Think about it. Like, every single penny that you have, just like you mentioned earlier, Brian, you don't have to make a lot of money to save and invest and grow your money. You just have to
Yeah.
know what to do with the money, and you have to be disciplined enough to keep the money, the profits. So I love that. But yeah,
And
going back to people going broke after winning the lottery, I'm like, what are you buying? Like, it's people want to live beyond their means. I don't
yeah,
get that.
yeah, it's not the business. And also, it's important. Sorry, lost my train of thought. Oh, it's also important that we, like you said, that we know what to do with it once we have it, and having that mentality. So I think a lot of people also kind of grow up in that a poverty mentality, and because no one shows them, all they know is maybe how, definitely not speaking ill of anyone on welfare. It's a means to get by, but eventually there should come a point where you want to get off, having to depend on the government. It's like eventually a baby gets off of the bottle. Hopefully, you can't still be a 7-year-old boy still asking for the bottle. That's eventually there has to be some type of growth. It's like a band-aid. A band-aid is just a temporary solution. You can't keep on using the same band-aid. Eventually you have to deal with the wound and treat it properly. But Band-Aid is just a temporary solution. So it's real important to watch what you do with it. Oh, and that's what I was going to say. For those of you who love going to the gym, everyone likes going to the gym and working out, and especially after this holiday season, after you've eaten some good yams, black eyed peas, and
The whole
we
nine.
all, yeah, we all, may have a few extra pounds, but it's like, I know you may be comfortable with the gym, but technically you can do push-ups anywhere. All you need is the ground. And if you put your feet underneath your couch, and you can do sit-ups on your own, and walking, you could do that anywhere. So technically, you could jump rope in your living room and your backyard. So there's different ways to go about it.
Yeah, I used to use my garage. Now I just use my living room and my yoga mat. It just depends on people's mindsets. I know some people just like to be around other people. Some people need the motivation. I personally do not like working out in front of people anyway, so I prefer to be at home. I don't like people watching me while I'm struggling to run and all this stuff. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't like it. But I love that. I love that concept, and I love the idea of saving money, because that's just money going in the trash can every single month if you're paying for these memberships. But they do have some decent ones where they're like $10 a month. But again, that could be $10 a month that you're saving.
Yeah.
Just something to
Yeah.
think about. Something to think about.
And
I can spend some money, so I'm not the one to talk. I can spend. I'm guilty, but I have come a long way with understanding how to invest my money the proper way and make it grow. And so I wish I would have known this a decade ago, but you learn when it's time.
yeah.
To learn when it's time. So let me ask you, we have a few more minutes left tonight. Is there any hardcore advice that you would like to give guys who are just feel like they can't get it together? They really don't know where to turn. I don't know if you know of any possible mentors, or if you're even a mentor. I mean, do you have any suggestion to these men out there tonight?
Yeah, for all those guys listening, I'd like to, first acknowledge that I understand as boys we're taught to suck it up. We fall, and our parents like, suck it up, or our dad is like, our mom is like, suck it up, get back up, man up, man up. And so we grow up learning to suck it up, and we're suppressing all these emotions and all these different issues. And for a lot of times, some of the issues that may be suppressed are how to manage money in a good financial way. And so there may be that fear in you. Because they honestly may be embarrassed, but I just want to let you know it's okay to release that fear. It's okay to, as tough as Superman was, every now and then he had to go back to being Clark Kent to refresh and renew himself. So it's okay. We're all human. We all have strengths and we all have weaknesses. So, it takes a real man to acknowledge his weakness, and so, I want to encourage you with that. And also, I'm a mentor and would definitely, mentor and life coach as well. Would definitely be honored to be able to help another, brother, another person financially or mentally, and just in any way I can. I definitely, I'm here for you guys. So.
Awesome, awesome. And just FYI for people who are tuning in or who will watch this show is not exclusively just for African American men, but I definitely keyed that as a problem because after looking at the racial wage gap is enormous, and that also applies for Hispanic males as well. But as we all know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people aren't just solely depending on one job for that level of income. And I know that it's hard even this year because of COVID-19. But I definitely want to encourage those people who are falling on hard times to not give up, to do exactly what Brian mentioned earlier, is to look inside yourself, find out what your talents are, and really flourish. Find ways to flourish on those talents and take out time to make small investments on yourself and on your future. Whether it's just a license or a certificate or whatever it may be, take that time and take out that small investment for you. You never know where that can take you later on in your life. It could be just around the corner, your success, but you have to sit back, take out time and find out who you really are and the talents that you really possess, because God has given us all talents. It's just a matter of us taking out the time to find out what they are. And before we go, I want you, Brian, to please tell everybody about your show, what you offer, and how they can find you.
Thank you. I have a motivational podcast on Anchor FM and Spotify and Google Podcasts. It is called Brian's Place. And also I'm on Instagram as well as Bri Davy 888. It's a combination of my first and middle name, Brian David, Bri Davy 888, as well as on Facebook as Brian David Porter. And you can definitely feel free to message me on either platform and I will respond to you. And you can feel free to reach out to me. My mom used to always tell me that there are no dumb questions, that the only dumb question is the one that's not asked. So, yeah, feel free to definitely reach out to me.
Absolutely. I love it. And let me read a comment. I'm so sorry. If I won the lottery, I'm investing it. I will continue to live off what I'm used to. I know that's right. Amazing. I love this. Thank you, Asia, for tuning in tonight. And for everyone that is watching this show, I will be off the air for the next 2 weeks. Holidays are around the corner. I will be back on December the 6th. I am taking a mental health break. As you guys know, I'm doing a lot. And I'm currently editing the film Nella, and it's just fantastic. I can't wait to release it. So without further ado, I will let you guys get back to what you guys are doing this evening. We want to thank Brian for coming on to the Sistas Talk show. We're going to definitely have to have you back. I want to thank you for leading tonight because I was exhausted. Friday wiped me out. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you, Asia.
Thank you.
And definitely shout out one more time where people can find your podcast and where they can find your information.
Thank you again. The podcast is on Anchor FM and Spotify if you type in Brian's Place. And I'm also on Facebook, Brian David Porter, as well as on Instagram, Bri Davy 888.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, we were on time before time, and we still have 3 more minutes. So look, if you guys win the lottery, don't quit your day job, okay? First, strategize, figure out where do you want to invest your money. Do you want to do investment properties? Do you just want to do strictly stocks? Do you want to try this Forex route? I don't know. There's so many different avenues to make money and to grow your money. And you don't necessarily have to get licensed to be a real estate agent in order to flip houses. These are things that you really need to take out time to research. Make the time to research. So instead of going to the club, actually take out the night and just research for like 2 or 3 hours straight. You'd be surprised what you may find. So I'm talking to somebody that needs to know that. Yeah, invest in yourself is the greatest investment of them all. Trust me. And one more thing I wanted to say too. I think it's important that men in particular know that when we pass on, both man and woman, and you have children, you don't want to leave your children with with nothing. You know, so many times we see on Facebook people are creating GoFundMe accounts. They're trying to find ways to gather money, and it just doesn't make sense when you could have invested just a small amount per month in order to ensure you thousands, hundreds and thousands of dollars in coverage so that your family's left taken care of. You know, they're left behind, but they're taken care of. And you don't have to worry about leaving your debt with anyone. You don't have to worry about them struggling. And they're already stressed because of your passing. And then on top of that, they don't have enough money to bury you. And I've just seen this happen way too many times, especially in the African American communities. So we definitely need to plan, because unfortunately that is the inevitable. So we must be prepared. We have to prepare ourselves. That's my
Yes.
All right, Brian's like, yeah, I'm cool with that. All right, guys. So you guys have a blessed weekend. Yeah, stay safe, wear your mask, and I will see you guys again on December 6th. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.